Just read about a wealth tax in Norway, and some of the richest people in Norway are leaving, going to Switzerland or some other countries with lower tax rates. And I don't think this idea of loyalty, even in the revolution, in the beginnings of the revolution, some of the people would say it's not, the focus isn't because we believe in this grand idea of democracy. It's more self interest. And Britain is bleeding us dry with their taxation. So self interest is the boogeyman of the world. Self interest, selfish ideas, desires. It's all about me, and we all have that. We all have that. Me, my family, or my people, or a lot of it's me. Even the leader of people, they like the probably the most wealth, the most property, the most honors, the most accolades and worshiping, even, which is tips it into a different field as like dictatorship or a cult. But the wealth tax, don't forget what a wealth tax is, because you can have income taxes, property taxes, and a lot of states are trying to put more on sales taxes, which will affect the poor more. But we've created this system over hundreds of years that has benefited the few at the expense of the many until a war. If there's a war, then the lower income classes, the poor, will fight and will be drafted and may not get the four deferments that Trump got or many other people got. Um, so the poor will fight the wars and die and kill and have all this terrible memory when they come back, many with PTSD. And we don't care about them then. We don't care about them then either. We don't. We may give them pills, but not therapy because it's cheaper. So we're building our system and we're living our lives for the few at the expense of the many. And a wealth tax helps create more equality. The word we don't speak about here much, equality. We talk about the market. What's the market doing today? Even though that affects a small percentage of Americans. What is it, the top 10% on 80% of the market or 85%? But because of our system, our economics of covetousness, basically, um, and we support that through the Fed and through monetary policies and tax policies, we've grown more and more unequal to the point where it's like the roaring 20s. And it's like we're serfs. The working people are serfs or sharecroppers, just barely holding on, barely holding on to a decent life. Less and less able to buy a house because somebody owns four or five of them and rents them out at high rates, or apartments are built to be more luxurious and higher rent, too high for the working people. But a wealth tax can help create more equality and community. You're not going to have a community without equality. You're not going to have democracy without equality. Um, we celebrate the billionaires who own so much and interview them like they're really smart people, even though what they really are is taking advantage of a situation and maybe luck into a situation like the internet. which started evolving about 25 years ago or 20 years ago. So they got in on that, and they have control of a situation that everybody uses, and you will use it because you love it, and so do I. But I will pay a few people for that right, and they become billionaires. Um, so I don't know what we want. Do we want a good society? Do we want selfish things? Do we want an oligarchy and a plutocracy, a kleptocracy, where the people at the top are making all the decisions? Um, Basically, dictatorship by the billionaires. Or if you have $800 million, you're probably up there too. It's just a sad, uncivilized way to live that we've created. And you can say, I didn't create that. Well, we created that as a people, as human beings, we've created that. Human beings are in charge of this planet, at least in many aspects. We're in charge of our government, and we can elect bullies, and we can elect greedy people or people that are working for greedy people at the expense of the working people, which is why most most Americans, let's say 51%, most of America owns about 2% of the wealth. So almost all the wealth is in the hands of less than half, probably more like a 20% of America probably owns 80% of America's wealth, property. Sad, sad, sad. And we don't talk about it. We watch sports. We go shopping. We play games on the internet. We don't talk about reality of economics and life and wealth inequality. And we have to grow up and do that. We have to face this for ourselves, for our children, for the next generations, for the health of a society, for the health of a planet. We have to change our ways of using gas so much and burning CO2 and putting that into the air for our energy sources, our pollution. And we can do all this. We can do all of this and more. But not if we just watch sports and go shopping and play video games. Nothing's going to happen. We'll be used and abused more and more and more. And that's our fault for not being good citizens, good humans, which we are inside. We are good people. We are good-hearted. And we have to be good citizens to let all that flower. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amen.